Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Lexi Essential English Vocabulary. I hope you're feeling extra healthy today because today we have a very useful word, the word nauseous. We're also going to learn 4 other words this week. Let's go ahead and see them now. The 5 words in alphabetical order are fond, harass, nauseous, oblivious, ultimate. Let's see how to pronounce these words. First, we have the word fond. This is a 1-syllable stressed word. Because it's a stressed syllable, you have to make sure to make the vowel extra long. That way you can clearly hear the ending nd. So remember to pronounce it fond. Next, we have the word harass. Harass. Next up, nauseous. Nauseous. It looks like this word has many vowel sounds, but in fact there are only 2. The first syllable, the stressed syllable, is na, and the second syllable is shus. Nauseous. In fact, some people pronounce this word a little bit differently. You can see they have the pronunciation nauseous. Nauseous. So you might hear that form, but in my opinion, the first one, nauseous, is much more common. The next word is oblivious. Oblivious. The stress is on the second syllable, and there's also a little bit of a stress on the final syllable. Oblivious. Finally, we have the word ultimate. Ultimate, with the stress on the first syllable. Now that we've seen how to pronounce these words, let's find out what they mean. The first word, fond, is an adjective. It means a feeling of closeness or love for someone or something. Here is an example sentence. After meeting several times, Eric realized that he had grown very fond of Kate. So we can see here that the word fond is a very happy word. It's a word that means you really are becoming closer to someone and you're enjoying their company. It's not only used for romantic relationships, it can also be used for friendships where you really feel close to someone else. Finally, I should also mention that sometimes people will say that they are fond of some specific thing. For example, you could say, I'm really fond of chocolate cake. In that case, it's not really a closeness, but it's more of an affection, a love for the chocolate cake. Next, we have the word harass. This verb means to repeatedly bother, annoy, or disturb. If you harass someone, you're annoying them constantly without stopping. So here's a perfect example. Nobody likes to be harassed by telemarketers, especially when they are trying to have a family meal. I'm sure you know that telemarketers, tele meaning distant marketers, are people that call you by phone and ask you if you're interested in a promotion that they have. And often it seems like telemarketers call us when we're busy doing something like enjoying a meal with our family. The next word is nauseous. This is a feeling like you might vomit. This can happen when you drink or eat or smell something that your body just doesn't like. Here is an example sentence. The odor inside of the public restroom made Amanda nauseous. Sometimes you might see this word in its noun form, and in the noun form it's pronounced nausea. So you might say, oh, I'm suffering from nausea, or I'm feeling nauseous. The next word we have is oblivious. This means unaware that something is happening. A perfect example is this. Because she was so exhausted, Nina was oblivious to the loud ringing of her alarm, and she slept right through her first class. This is something I think that many students fear, staying up late to finish a project or an assignment, or to study for a test, and then the next morning waking up after the class had begun or even after the class had completed. It's possible to be oblivious to loud noises when your body is so exhausted or tired. Finally, we have the word ultimate. Ultimate has two possible meanings in this case. It can mean the final or last of something, but it can also mean the best or greatest form of something. So in the sentence I'm going to show you, I want you to notice that the word ultimate has one of these two meanings. Try to guess which one it is. For many artists, their greatest work is often not their ultimate one. Can you guess which is the correct definition for ultimate in this sentence? It should be the first one, which is the final or last. This sentence shows that many artists who create many works of art throughout their lives sometimes create their best work in the middle of their life. In fact, many artists actually peak early. They create really wonderful works of art in the middle of their careers, and then later on they change course. Sometimes their work is not as respected as their earlier work. An example of the word ultimate used to mean the best or greatest is when you say something like, oh, this is the ultimate cheesecake. This is the ultimate expression of love. All right, now that we've learned the definitions for these 5 words, what I want to do now is something new. This week, we're going to use a story. I created this unique story using all 5 of the vocabulary words we have learned earlier. Remember that because this is a story, there will be some new vocabulary which I have not explained. If you're unsure about any of the words, especially the words that I have colored green, please use your favorite dictionary or ask in the comment section below for more information. There are 2 ways you can enjoy this story. First, you can just pause the video and read it to yourself. You might want to mute the audio if that is the case. Or you can just follow along as I read the story. Are you ready? Okay, guys, let's begin. Calm in the storm. There once lived a young boy named Nat. He lived with his father in a small house by the sea. His father was a fisherman, so every morning his father woke up early and took his boat out to the waters. Nat was very fond of his father, so he always woke up early to join him. Nat was always happiest when he was out on the boat. The sea was so beautiful, and the waves were so calm early in the morning. One day, after they had been out fishing for a couple of hours, a strong breeze raised the waves around them, and suddenly their boat began to rock violently back and forth. The sea splashed onto them. "A storm's coming," his father said. "We better head home." Nat's father looked over at his son's face and realized how uncomfortable Nat looked. "Nat, what's wrong?" I can't help it, Dad. I feel nauseous, like my stomach is turning upside down." "You're seasick." Nat's father cut a small rag into 2 little squares, balled one up, then put it in his left ear. He handed the other piece of the rag to Nat. "Try putting this in your ear. Close your eyes and slow your breathing." At first, Nat didn't feel any different. He closed his eyes and held onto the sides of the boat firmly. He slowed his breathing and tried to imagine he was sitting at the kitchen table back home. The sound of the wind grew, and the waves and seawater continued to harass their small boat. Yet the stronger the wind blew, the more clearly he tried to imagine his peaceful home. In his mind, he could plainly see the grooves and knots in the wood of the table. He saw himself running his fingers along the surface, and after a while, he could even feel the wood under his fingers. He traced the word calm onto the kitchen table and let out a long, cool breath. After a few minutes, Nat forgot where he was. He was oblivious to the swaying of the boat and to the seawater on his face and clothes. His stomach felt better, and he even smiled. He discovered the ultimate solution. When he didn't want to be where he was, he would imagine being where he wanted to be. From that day on, Nat knew that he would always be able to anchor himself, no matter the storm. I hope you enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed writing it. Let's finish today's video with a quote that uses one of these wonderful words. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. This quote is by the Roman poet Sextus Propertius. It's a very famous quote in English, and probably you've heard it translated into your own language. It means the longer you spend away from the person you love, the more you will miss them. So you will definitely want to become closer to them because you haven't seen them in a while. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, please make sure to like this video. If you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. And finally, if there are any words, phrases, or texts that you would like us to explore in future video, please drop a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.